Warning. This video contains footage of virtual events occurring in video games that some giant pussies may find disturbing.
You shouldn't mess around with my stuff. It makes me nervous.
I'm sorry, Todd.
What are you looking at? Maybe you think this is easy. Maybe you think it's my fault your fucking mother took off. Fucking whore walked out on me for a fucking accountant! Come back here. You stay there. Don't you dare fucking move. Alice! Daddy's very mad! It's all over now. Daddy isn't angry anymore. You know Daddy loves you. This is all your fault!
So Detroit Become Human is the latest game from David Cage, and David Cage did games that I love, like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, and he also did a bunch of others. And David Cage games are usually best described as like interactive films, or, you know, those choose your own adventure books. It's that, but in a game form. It's the book that tried to be a game, but it's a game of the book trying to be a game. So an event will play out, and there's usually several outcomes to that event, be it a conversation or a chase or a fight or something like that. And your actions dictate what happens as a result of that situation, and then that affects the greater story. So, for example, in Heavy Rain, there was 22 different endings. Unlike some other games where they don't really matter so much, your choices matter in these games. And I've really enjoyed the last two. So anyway, Become Human is about, it's set in Detroit, obviously, and it's all about androids have become commonplace, and it seems like you play as a handful of androids throughout the city for an undisclosed period of time, and the stories will intertwine somewhere, and it seems to be that they're confronted with situations that would be very taxing for humans, where they've got to make very difficult decisions based on like morals and ethics and things like that. But it's about androids and AI and how they can deal with these situations, and that's all I care to know about it right now. I just need to know it's a new game from Quantic Dream, the guys that made Heavy Rain, so I'm in. Well, a trailer came out for it recently at the Paris Games Show, showing one such situation in the game, where you've got Todd, an abusive father, Alice, his abused daughter, and Kara, I think, the android housemaid type thing. So it starts off with him telling her, you know, clean the house, make sure she does her homework, that sort of thing. And you can tell he's a real piece of shit already. And then you see him, like, getting angry with the daughter, blaming his daughter for his wife running out on him, starts yelling at the daughter, and then she runs upstairs crying, and he follows her up with a belt, and you know she's going to get the thrashing of a lifetime. Except, oh shit, she did, because now she's dead. And then he turns his anger to the robot. So that's one way the situation could pan out, when you don't do anything. There are other ways you can deal with the situation. I don't know how effective these methods are, but you see the options show up, like, you know, talk to Todd, use the gun that you found earlier, you know, things like this, call the cops, escape through the window. All these different scenarios, right? Basically, the goal of this situation, clearly, is to save the little girl. I mean, that's the beauty of this game, and games like it. There are many different ways to solve each problem. You don't have to try and save her. If you felt like it, you could just let her get killed and see what kind of ending that gives you. I don't know. But of course, this has some people upset. They're like, oh no, you can't show child abuse in a game. Some people have been making comments, people of note, I might add. So I'm here to respond to some of these comments, because they are eye-rippingly painful. So the first comment is from Childline founder Dame Esther Ranson. And if you're English and around, well, British rather, and if you're around my age, you'll probably have heard the name Esther Ranson. She was a TV personality back in the day, and from what I can gather, she's been doing a lot of work over the recent years. She basically is involved in all these organizations that help children who suffer from abuse and all this business. So, doing the Lord's work, you might say. I got respect for her. Unfortunately, her thoughts on this not only are unwelcome and unwarranted, but completely miss the mark of what makes a game fun to a player. Imagine that, a 77-year-old woman not really getting video games, and then demanding that one get either the scene removed or the game to not be sold because of a scene that lets you save a child from abuse. That's the kind of mentality I'm dealing with. So anyway, here we go. Esther Ranson called the game sick and repulsive. I agree. There's nothing more sick and repulsive in this world than a scene in a video game where the main aim of it is to rescue a girl from being beaten to death, to prevent child abuse. That is the goal of this mission. Truly sick and repulsive that would be someone's goal. You'd think, Esther, you'd think you'd be more sort of, singing from the same song sheet with someone who wants to prevent child abuse, even if it is, and this is a very important point that I feel I'm going to have to drive home several times, fictional. It is fake. It is not real. There are no children actually being abused in this game. That won't be the first time I'm going to have to say that. She urged publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment to either remove the child abuse scene or withdraw the game. Of course she did. It's the classic, I don't like this, therefore no one should be allowed to have it mentality. Dame Esther told the Mail on Sunday, violence against children is not entertainment. No one's saying it is entertainment, but what it can be, and often is a tool used in a work of fiction to evoke an emotional response from a reader, viewer, or player by creating drama and stakes. The stakes are the kid could die. You don't want that. Not many people do, right? Not many, even us horrible gamers, not many people want children to die. So you will be trying to stop them. Horrible things happen in works of fiction all the time. And I don't think David Cage is breaking new ground and being particularly risque by introducing some drama into his, and I'm going to say it one more time, work of fiction where nobody is getting hurt. She goes on to say, it's not a game. Again, no one's saying child abuse is fun or a game or is itself entertainment. No one's saying that. It just happens to be present here in a work of fiction. When Rockstar Games make a new Grand Theft Auto game, they're not, by that act, condoning and promoting the acts of violence and murderous rampages that you can do in the game. You can do them in the game. That doesn't mean Rockstar's going, it's cool. You can do this in real life because it's just a game. No, they're not saying that at all. And you actually have to be a little bit damaged in the brain to believe that that is their intent. That they're saying, yes, this is cool, you can do it in real life. Same goes for this game. I don't think David Cage is going, yeah, child abuse, it's okay. No, it's literally the opposite. They go out of their way to make the thing look as horrible and harrowing as possible so that you... Flabbergasted is what I am. They're trying to evoke a reaction out of you, and the reaction is almost always going to be sheer disgust. Like, oh fuck, this situation is fucked up. Let me do something about it. Which might be a good way for people to think if they're presented with that situation in real life. Just saying. The makers of this game should be thoroughly ashamed. But why, though? Why should they feel ashamed? Because they depict a horrific incident in their video game. In that case, nearly every video game developer on the planet should be ashamed. Because horrific things happen in almost all games. Even like kid-friendly games like Mario and Minecraft. How many creatures does Mario kill? He just goes around jumping on their heads and they die. They do die. Make no mistake about it. That's straight up violence. You could argue genocide and racism and xenophobia, but let's not go down that rabbit hole. They depict violence and just killing things on sight, which is kind of horrific. If you were to go through that in real life, it would be horrific. And Minecraft, again, there's killing shit in Minecraft. You can die in Minecraft and lose all your stuff. Horrific things are in games. Get over it. She continues. I think it's perverse. Who thinks beating a child is entertainment? And here is where we see the crux of her problem. She thinks people are going to be playing the game and going, oh yeah, I hope that little girl really gets abused. Oh yeah, she's being shouted at by her dad. Oh, she's going to get it now. This is going to be awesome. There may be one or two freaks that think that. And if all they're doing is thinking that, who are they hurting? But most people, well, That's not why people are playing this game. I don't play GTA because I like being in a car when it explodes. No. I play GTA because doing other things in it is fun. With this game, the fun is derived from enjoying the story, so it's no different than a film. horrific things happen in films to raise stakes, to get people invested in characters. It's cool story, right? And touching on difficult topics like rape and child abuse and things like that. Why should these things be taboo? Do you not think more people should be talking about child abuse and how much of a problem it is? Do you not think it should get more light as the horrific, awful thing that it is? Do you not think that should happen? If they were going, yeah, this is all cool and fun and wrapping it up in a nice funny bow, maybe it'd be in poor taste. But they're trying to depict it as the awful thing that it is. So you're playing the game for the story and the challenge of succeeding, or the feeling of succeeding at challenges. And in this instance, the challenge may be save Alice. Or you may put your own challenge in there, like save Alice without killing Todd, like get the best solution, you know. Sorry, Esther, don't mean to harp on you for too long, but you know, when you say things that thoroughly miss the mark and the point of the product in question, then I'm just going to have to respond, aren't I? But you're not the only one, because Andy Burrows of the NSPCC, which is the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, added, any video game that trivializes or normalizes child abuse, neglect, or domestic violence for entertainment is unacceptable. Number one, I don't think it normalizes it. I think when you're playing the game, it's going to stand out as a really horrific incident. It's not like, oh well, this is just normal life. It's more like hitting the player on the head, like boom, this is a real thing that people go through. So any game that trivializes or normalizes neglect or child abuse is bad, but regular abuse is okay. Is that what you're saying? Kind of seems like it between the lines, just saying this type of abuse is bad and only this type. This type's fine. You're not saying this type's fine, but by singling out that this type is unacceptable, it's almost like you're saying this type is acceptable. So are you saying that regular abuse is fine, but child abuse isn't? It's a very strangely specific line, arbitrary line to draw in the sand. It's kind of weird. And what about TV? Again, half the cop shows in existence would just vanish if child abuse were not allowed to be discussed. Because, I was going to say shown, they don't even really show it in the trailer. The only abuse you see in the trailer is the dad shouting at the girl. You don't see any other form of abuse. Any TV show that actually did show abuse, like physical abuse, for example, that must get you so angry. Seeing that on TV, you must be like, this is unacceptable. People must be shielded from the realities. After all, no one wants child abuse to be pushed to the forefront of public discussion. No one would want that. Maybe someone that works for the NSPCC would be for more open dialogue of the topic of child abuse. But no, tell you what, ban it, punish gamers, we'll limit this art that people can consume, and we'll just sweep the topic under the rug. No need for people to talk about it. No need. That's the message I'm getting from Andy Burrows of the NSPCC. Wouldn't want to encourage dialogue of this important topic now, would we? Better censor that game. Oh, that's too far. Depicting it in a way that makes it look like a horrendous thing. That is too far. How dare these game developers? Seriously, what is going through the mind of these people? Mr. Burrows went on to say that research has shown that children and young people often play 18-plus games before they reach this age. Yes, age ratings on video games and TV and films and things are pointless, arbitrary, and we should get rid of them. Thank you, I agree. Peter Saunders, founder of the National Association of People Abused in Childhood, said, abusers will get off on this stuff. As long as no one's getting hurt, what the fuck business is it of yours what people get off to? Murderers might get off to playing GTA. Oh, better ban GTA. Actually, I shouldn't suggest that to you because it contains things far, far worse than what you see in this trailer. So maybe you would try to get it banned. Wouldn't be the first person. He continues. And the other thing we know beyond question is that video games end up being played by children, and scarily, the proliferation of salacious and abusive images is actually encouraging violence and abuse. Right, so I had to Google salacious because I wasn't entirely sure what it meant, and apparently the definition of salacious is having or conveying undue or indecent interest in sexual matters, of which there was none in that trailer. Zip, nada, zero. No through street, none. Not a little bit. I'll take that straw man argument and I'll throw it out because it's irrelevant. Pointless, bringing the word salacious into this discussion because there was nothing. It makes the trailer seem a lot worse than it was, and it's just. But you say abusive images. Now, if we look at the trailer, as far as I can tell, the only abusive images we see are the dad shouting at the little girl. That's the only abuse you see in the trailer, unless someone wants to redefine abuse or correct my supposedly incorrect definition of the word abuse. There was a fuck ton of implied abuse. There was even an implied death. You don't know that girl's dead. It's pretty obvious, but you don't know it. It's just implied that he beat her to death. The only abusive images you see in the trailer are the dad shouting at the girls. So you're saying we should ban adults shouting at children from games? Or from all media. I don't know why you would want to single out games. They're all equally legitimate. If you're going to ban adults shouting at children in games, ban it from film, ban it from TV, ban it from books. Oh no, wait, because that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Oh man, that would be the act of a busybody that somehow thinks they're helping, but are really just punishing people that want to play a game with some weighty content. I'm a fan of a game that you can just put on and turn your brain off and just start playing mindlessly. I'm a fan of that, but I'm also a fan of a game where you sit down, you get invested in the story, and they tackle some serious topics. But you're like, no, don't like it. No, actual abusers exist in real life, so we cannot depict such a realistic event happening in a video game. Cannot allow it. Peter Saunders continues. And we know that abuse in all its forms is escalating on this planet, so why not help to tackle it constructively rather than sensationalize and make money out of it? Wow. Do you honestly think that removing a small portion of a game where a child is killed off-screen, where you're tasked with preventing an off-screen death of a child, you think removing that is going to help the world? You think that's going to make abusers go, fuck, they got us. Right where it hurts. The video games. Damn, if I can't abuse kids in video games, where else am I going to do it? Not that you're even the one doing the abusing in the video game. That's the problem as well. Some people think that you're the one doing the abusing. And no. At worst, you are just standing there and it's happening elsewhere and you're doing nothing to stop it. That is the worst. Most people will be trying to stop it. That's like the point of it. On to someone new now. Tory MP Damian Collins, chairman of the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee, said it is completely wrong for domestic violence to be part of a video game regardless of what the motivation is. Notice how we specified domestic violence. Why would you specify domestic violence you would say violence if you meant all violence, right? If you wanted to specify that one type is unacceptable, thereby admitting that the other types are acceptable, then you would specify, wouldn't you? So when you say it is completely wrong for domestic violence to be part of a video game, but it's perfectly fine for public violence to be in a video game, perfectly fine for, as people keep calling it, a mass murder simulator to be still in the top 10 charts 4 years after release, GTA 5. These people are crazy. They're like, you can't possibly bring to light an issue that is dangerous. And people need to be talking about it. You can't possibly do that. It's perfectly fine for you to show your character stealing a car, robbing a bank, killing people. That's fine. But don't you dare let the player try and save a child from domestic abuse. That is unacceptable under all circumstances. But by all means, go murder 30 hookers in GTA. That's what I'm hearing from these people. Tory MP Damian Collins, that's what I'm hearing from what you're saying. You're saying, no, you can't show domestic abuse. Everything else is fine. He continues. Domestic violence is not a game, and this simply trivializes it. It's wildly insulting as well when he says domestic violence is not a game. We know it's not a game. Stop trying to tell us that we think this shit is a game. Domestic violence is not a game. It is a real thing. You know what is a game? This game that depicts domestic violence. No real humans are in the game. No real humans are harmed. There is... Show me a negative consequence to this game being released. You go on to say, I didn't actually make a note of this, but I'm going to fucking bring it up. You go on to say, what if a 9-year-old child who's a victim of child abuse is playing this game? Show me a 9-year-old that's interested in Detroit Become Human. Scenes like this are included to add drama to a work of fiction. Fiction! Keep saying it. Fiction. Because it is not real. No one is being harmed. Oh, but if the game comes out, someone might play it and then they might have nightmares. Go fuck yourself. How is that a valid argument? And it is. It's what he said. What if they have nightmares? Oh my god, I had nightmares from watching E.T. when I was a kid, the friendliest alien available. I had nightmares from that film. You'd probably like to see it banned, wouldn't you? Banned, because it gave a child nightmares. Go fuck yourself. The game's rated 18. Yeah, we know kids, right? We know kids get hold of 18-rated games. You know why? Because the parents let them. First of all, if your kid was 9, you'd have to buy that game and then let them play it. I don't think an abusive parent would let their child play a video game, would they? Would they let their child play, especially one called Detroit Become Human, which features this child abuse and all this shit? If the kid is playing it, it's the parent's fault. Maybe the parent didn't buy the game, but there are systems in place on the consoles where parents can say, okay, any game that's rated 18 cannot be played. Bosh. And then whenever they want to play the game, they can turn it off, play the game, turn it back on again. If your kid is playing a game that's rated higher than their age, it is your fault as a parent. No one else's. But getting back on the topic of domestic violence not being a game and simply trivializing it, should anti-domestic abuse, what are they called? Public service announcements be banned? Should they be banned? Because that's a work of fiction depicting domestic abuse and basically telling people, no, don't do it, which is basically what the game's fucking telling you. The game's basically going, this is bad. Stop it. Not stop doing it. Like, prevent it from happening. Kind of stop it. Even things that help should be banned? I don't know. I'm not seeing the difference between an anti-domestic abuse public service announcement and this scene in this video game. It's not like the whole game is based around children being abused. It's one scene. And finally, he says, it's dangerous to plant the seed in people's minds that the way to deal with abusers is use violence against them. It's counterproductive and could put them in even more danger. If the game plants a seed in the player's head that violence is an answer to the problem, the game never tells you violence is the. Didn't know what the fuck was going on then. I heard this noise. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, it's someone's flying a quadcopter out there, a little drone. Anyway, yeah, the game never says the only way out of this situation is violence. There's often many ways out of these. Like I don't know. I don't know how successful these attempts are, but you can go out the window. You can try talking to him. You can try locking him out of the room. Various other means. So if the game plants the seed in the player's head that an answer, not the answer, that an answer to a solution to an abuser is to be violent, if it does that, then it also plants the seed that running away is a solution, and calling the authorities is a solution, and trying to talk it out is a solution, and non-violent ways are solutions. If the game does such a thing as plant a seed in your head that violence is a way out, then it must also plant the seed in your head that you have many options, and there are many ways to deal with these situations. So if your twisted logic is right, I just used it against you. And it also means that if your comment of it being counterproductive and could put them in danger is true, then also, by that same logic, it could be productive and help save lives. Because sure, maybe someone would go, oh no, I know how to get out of this situation, violence, and maybe it doesn't work out for them. But there may be 5 other people that go, oh, because I played this game, I know there's other ways out of this situation, and it could save their life. So all these what-ifs that you're throwing, I don't know why I did this, because you are straight up doing it, all these what-ifs that you're throwing out can be flipped. You're like, but what if this bad thing happens? Yeah, what if this good thing happens? You see why I don't think your argument holds much water? Because you can just flip a coin and go, oh yeah, shit, it could be beneficial. I don't think it would be either, just for the record, I don't think it would be either beneficial or counterproductive. I'm just using your logic. Furthermore, if violence in video games plants a seed that violence is the answer, then you should probably just go ahead and ban almost all video games, because as I mentioned earlier, almost all video games feature violence, even the kid-friendly ones, almost all of them. So you're going to go ban them all, and then go ban TV that shows violence. Ban it all. You know, why not? This is just the tired old, violent video games make violent people argument, but it's just being put through a new prism now for 2017. It's like the same old, oh, metal music is making our kids turn to Satan, and rap music is making our kids turn to gun crime. It's just the same, like, rock and roll is the devil's music. It's just the same old shit thrust upon people who enjoy popular things by the old. No one talks about domestic abuse or domestic violence, do they? And yet it is a real problem. Maybe having a work of art, because that's what it is, a work of art in the public sphere that dares to even suggest that such a thing is a reality, I think that might be a good thing. It might get people to start talking. Just, again, open a dialogue about this topic that I would think that all of these people who are against this game would be for. They would be for more people talking about these horrendous issues. But no, they just want to go, I don't like this, therefore you can't have it, under the rug. I'm helping. That's you. Not you watching this. You. I'm addressing Esther Ranson, okay? Tory MP Damian Collins, and Peter Saunders, founder of the National Association of People Abused in Childhood, and, one more, Andy Burrows of the NSPCC. I'm talking to you when I say that thing I said. That's my impression of you. I'm going to leave you now with a clip from someone who does know about video games and also was a victim of child abuse. Right? I think this person would have a more insight into this situation than me and these guys that were talking about it. So let's hear what Boogie2988 has to say.
Now, the reason I want to talk about this video is I'm not just another talking head on YouTube. I'm not just another gamer who defends video games. I do defend video games, but I'm also the victim of domestic violence from several people in my household, primarily my mother in the first 18 years of my life. Everything that you can imagine that could have been done to me was done to me. So I feel like I have a unique perspective when it comes to a game like this. But secondly, I want to say as a victim of child abuse, who's still scarred from it today, I absolutely did not find this to be appalling. I found this to be interesting and exciting because I love video games with a mature theme. I love seeing the things that I've experienced represented in my video games, and I have used video games like this and other media that talk about this topic to not just be entertainment or, it's not Minecraft. It's not a joke. It's not a slot machine. Video games to me, can be just like a book or a movie. They can be very therapeutic. They can help me learn. They can help me grow. They can help me become a better person. And this was a game that was completely not on my radar until I saw this trailer. And now that I see that they're covering a subject that's close to me and important to me, I want to play it not for the entertainment value, but for the therapeutic value. A lot of people have the misconception that video games are just for fun and that they're just murder simulators maybe, or maybe they're all just Minecraft and slot machines, casino machines, and stuff like that. That's really not the case. I know that's what a lot of you people who have not experienced video games can experience, but there are games made by studios like this or by Naughty Dog who cover real territory, real human emotion, real human experiences, and they treat them often with care and love and respect. And when I watch this trailer, I see this trailer treating this topic exactly like that. And that does not appall me. That actually makes me respect those people all the more. It makes me want to play the game all the more because this is something that is very frequently under talked about. And I feel like the people who work at these organizations should know that. And hearing this stuff in media and reading about it in books has been very therapeutic throughout my entire life. And now a lot of people don't read, a lot of people don't watch a lot of movies, but a lot more people play video games.